Hi, remote art students. Today we're going to start our new drawing. We're going to be doing our ink shoe drawing. Basically, we're going to draw a shoe, but then we're going to ink it using a pen. The first thing you need is a number 2 pencil because we're just going to draw it today. We're not going to use ink. We're just going to use pencil today. We're going to draw it. You need a blank piece of paper. You can, just like last time, you can use a copy paper, or better yet is sketch paper. So this is a little thicker like sketch paper. If you have a sketchbook, you can use it. It's about 8.5 by 11. Copy papers or printer papers usually 8.5 by 11. So this will work great. But like I said, if you have sketch paper, use that. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a shoe. You're going to find a shoe in your house. It doesn't even have to be your shoe. It could be someone else's shoe, an interesting shoe, and then you're going to draw it, and then we're going to ink it. So next week we're going to talk about inking, and instead of using the pencil for shading or colored pencils, we're going to use ink. And we're going to use cross hatching and little lines to make the values. Remember how we learned about values? We're going to use ink. It's a little trickier to do, but that's okay. We're learning. It's going to be great. We're going to learn a different way to create values, and it's going to be a little different and interesting. Okay, but what I highly recommend here, I'll just show you like this. I highly recommend you get a dark shoe. Like, so I've got this I've got this crazy shoe. It's like a hipster boot shoe, right? And I like it, but I highly recommend a dark shoe. So like a white tennis shoe will be difficult to do because it's mostly white, and you're not going to be able to do um, the shading very well. So a darker shoe is much better. So I don't care. A black shoe is fine. Um, a dark shoe, a color shoe. Sometimes like there'll be like a red shoe. That's fine. Brown shoe. Brown shoe is probably the best. Brown or black. But gray is fine. But don't get like a purely white shoe. That will be very difficult in the future weeks. So you've been warned. So I got a brown shoe. It's kind of brown or black or dark gray, or a color like a dark blue, red, whatever, but not white. Not white, okay? Brown or black is probably the best. Now you can't see my shoe. You're gonna find your shoe. Here's my shoe. It's huge. I'm gonna put it off camera, but I'm gonna start drawing it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna find your shoe, and you can just you can just watch me draw, and then you can get the idea, and then you can pause it, and then just draw your shoe. Drawing our shoe is going to be similar to drawing our can that we did last time. So it kind of builds on what we've already learned. We're gonna try to space it and draw it carefully. We're just going to carefully draw the line, the lines of the shoe, and then next week we're going to shade it, but not with pencil. We're going to use ink to shade it. So it's going to be very similar. But the most important thing is you want to fill your page, right? So I've talked about that before. And what you want to do is this. Sometimes shoes are skinny. Like I had a skinny shoe earlier. That's fine, but you at least want it to be as long as your page. So I'm looking at my shoe, and I want the back of my shoe to be here. So I'm going to draw a line, just a little sketch line. I want the bottom of my shoe to be here, almost to the bottom of the page. Then the front of my shoe is going to be like here, right? Now my shoe is tall, so like the top of the shoe is gonna, let's see, it could probably go up to about here, I think. So I'm kind of drawing those lines to help me know how far to make my shoe. If you don't make these lines, you might draw your shoe, you might make it really small, and no, you don't want to do that. And just like drawing our can, we're gonna very carefully just kind of draw the outline of the shoe. Oh gosh, the problem is I'm holding it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. You can see my arm. Yeah, I can't avoid it. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna draw my shoe. There's some wrinkles here, and then it kind of goes up here. So I'm drawing my shoe. You're gonna get your shoe, and you're gonna draw your shoe, right? Now let's see. So I'm drawing it, and then I'm just drawing the outline first, the overall shape. In fact, I might have screwed up a little, so I might need to erase this a little bit. It looks okay. But remember, if you draw real lightly, you can almost just draw right over it, and then just very carefully erase it later. But let's see here. This goes to about here, maybe. I'm looking at my boot. Oh, this isn't like this. Oh, messed up. Oh. There we go. And then this kind of goes here. Okay, so I do need to erase a little. Let's test to see if this eraser works. Oh, good, it does. Sometimes these little erasers don't work. Okay, so I got it. Make that a little bigger. Okay, great. So I'm looking at my shoe. It looks a little too skinny here. So again, I drew lightly. So there's like a piece here. So let's see. It might see it kind of comes down, but then it kind of goes like that. There's like a piece that goes right here. I got a big zipper. So the zipper kind of goes here. And again, just like the can, I'm observing the basic shape of my shoe. Okay, there's like a heel thing here. It doesn't go, it goes like that. Let's see, I think this needs to be a little longer. Okay, I can erase that. So you can adjust your lines, stuff like that. Let's see. Okay, that looks good. This goes a little lower. And then this goes here. So I'm kind of observing, I'm trying to find the basic shapes. Do I have a better eraser? I do. The problem is I only have one hand. I'm holding my shoe. Oh, good, that worked. Okay, so let's see. This looks good. But you want to find the basic shapes of your shoe, right? So like I've got this, I don't know, it's like a quarter of a circle here. I've got the heel, and I'm trying to find, this kind of goes in. I'm observing, this kind of curves a little more. I'm observing, I can't show you. Maybe I can. I'm observing the shape of my shoe, right? And I'm trying to match it on my drawing. Okay. Don't worry if your shapes aren't perfect, right? We're learning. It takes practice too. But I'm hoping after we do, a few of these drawings, you'll be better at it. You'll be more, if you're careful, you'll be able to observe a little more. Like here, I noticed I can't show you because I have to hold my shoe. But there's a bump here. It's kind of like a wrinkle, and then this kind of comes in. Then there's like a seam here, so I'm kind of observing that. Oh, there's like a button here. It's like a circle, so I'm very carefully. Now remember, I'm trying to draw lightly. You definitely want to draw lightly. We're going to ink this. We're going to trace it in ink later, but don't do it yet. I'll show you next week. But we're going to do that, and that will enable us to make our lines darker and stuff like that. Okay, so there's a piece here. So I'm looking at the basic shapes. There's like, I don't know what this is. It's like a little rectangle. And then I got two more. Wow, I was lucky. I forget what these are called. Grommets maybe. But these are where your shoelaces go in. I'm just gonna lightly kind of add those. Okay. And then let's see, I've got a big zipper here, so it's kind of like a diamond shape. Let's see. And then it's got this big piece here. So you just want to draw this carefully. Shoes are kind of hard. So notice how I'm doing a side view. A side view might make it easier for you to draw. So, it's funny, I didn't say that at the beginning, but you probably just did it that way. But if not, you can do a side view of your shoe. Let me show you. Like when you're in art school, they make you draw it like this. Like, watch, I'll show you. Like at an angle, like this. Like it's at an angle and it's in perspective. And that's, you know what? If you can do it, if you're confident in your skills, you can draw your shoe however you want. It just needs to fill the page. But see how if I'm doing a side view, it's easier for me to construct it, especially for my younger remote students, right? So just be careful. But yeah, I'm definitely just doing a side view. I'm keeping it easy, right? And you can too. But like I said, if you're really good, some of you are good, and you want to challenge yourself, you can do it at a different angle. But remember, it has to fill your page. Like it can't be like small. Like it has to fill your page as much as possible. Okay, so now let's see. I've drawn this. Now there's some stitching here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly. Oh gosh, let me just show you. See the stitching? I don't want to draw every little stitch right now, that is, because I'm going to ink it later. I'm going to make these little lines in ink later. So do I want to make all these little lines with my pencil? Not really. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to very very lightly draw just a full line. And then next week when we go to ink, then I will draw these little dashes along that line. So let me show you what I mean by that. Meaning, this isn't the fit, like we're gonna kind of almost continue drawing this. So I got a real light line here. That's one stitch. I got another stitch right next to it. Very lightly I'm drawing this. And then I got one that's a little further down. It's kind of like that. Okay, then there's a little bit of a stitch right on top of that line. So I'm going to make that real lightly. Okay, that looks good. And then following this thing, let's see. We have 2 stitches on both sides of my zipper. Oh my gosh, so I'm going to go like this. Okay, then I got another stitch, very lightly, guys. You could almost just do this. Oh, I recommend you draw this line. Okay, I got this line here. Okay. What's funny is a lot of these lines are going to disappear. Okay. And then I'll notice, and then this kind of goes around here, so it kind of goes like that. And then there's this weird little, it's kind of cool. There's like a little stitch right here. Okay. So what happened was I drew these lines, but that's where there's going to be a bunch of little stitch lines like this. Now, I didn't draw them like, because that would be a lot of stitching. I didn't draw that stitching yet because I'm going to do that when I ink my shoe, right? When I ink my shoe. So I'm not really going to do that yet. Okay. Then let's see. There's a couple lines on my heel here. I'm just gonna kind of draw them. They're like it's like a wood heel. There's like a rubber part here. Okay, good. And then, oh, I got stitching in here, so I'm just gonna kind of draw that. I have so much stitching, I'm wondering if we need to render our shoe. I think we should try. We should definitely try. Yeah. Okay, it'll be challenging though. But you guys are good. You guys. Oh, oops! I almost drew the stitching, so I'm just gonna draw the line. I got another stitch here. Okay, check. Let's see. I got some lines here. Okay, lines up. These are going to be stitch lines. I'm drawing them lightly. I got a stitch there. I got a stitch there. Okay, great. Now I want to draw my shoelaces. My shoelaces kind of go in here. They kind of wrap around. They're not like a perfect like sausage. They're kind of like they kind of bend and follow along I don't know, along this part of the shoe, right? So you want to observe your shoe. I'm looking very carefully at my shoe. Your shoe will look different. Your shoelaces might look different. They might even be different. Now I got a big loop here. This is going to be hard. So I'm just going to generalize it. So I got the knot here. It has like a loop thing here. Kind of covers up that part. Kind of goes here. Oh my gosh. This is hard for students to do, so don't worry about it if you can't get it just right. And there's another loop here, and then these strings kind of come down. I've been doing this for many years. Now, notice how I didn't erase all that. I guess I could erase it, but you know, some of the stuff you don't totally have to erase because what we're going to do, I mean, it might be useful just to erase it a little bit. I'm not going to erase it perfectly because we're going to ink it, like we'll ink it, and then we can erase the pencil lines after we've done the ink. You know, I think I'm just going to make you do an outline for this one because this one's going to be super detailed. What we'll do is, with all the stitching and stuff, what we'll do is probably a third project. We will draw something like a shoe, and then we will shade it as well. So I'm going to let you, because I didn't realize how much detail would be in my shoe, all the stitching lines. And if you draw all those lines very carefully, we probably don't need to shade it because the shading is going to interfere with these lines. So we're just going to focus on something else. We're still going to ink it. I think what I'm going to do is next time we'll shade with ink. Shading with ink is super challenging, so maybe that'll be our final project. Okay, anyways, let's see here. This looks good. So it's going to be contour. It's going to be a contour. We're not going to do values. That'll be last probably. Now I got some wrinkles in my shoe, so I'm going to kind of draw their kind of wavy lines. They actually have some like little, it's leather, so they kind of like there's some funky lines in here. There's also like a little leather piece, like right on the edge here. I'm gonna draw that. So you basically want to observe and follow. And here's something. Here's something you want to observe, right? I can't stress this enough. I'm looking at my heel, and this piece kind of comes out a little more. And then like each kind of piece is kind of its own thing, like its own, it has bumps. And so you want to observe your, I'll show you. There, see? So when you're observing your shoe, you want to find all the details. Now I'm looking at my zipper, and it's more than just this basic shape. I started with a basic shape, but there's kind of like a rectangle here. And then there's like a weird, it's kind of like a C. I'm going to try to draw that. Yeah. Oh, and then there's a little box here, right? And then there's like a little piece here, piece here. So you want to observe and add as many details as possible. Lightly, though. Do it lightly. Now, I might have missed... Oh, and there's a little bit of fur here on the top. It's kind of cool. This is a total, like, hipster shoe. I like it, though. Younger people wear these shoes. I'm a little too old to wear cool shoes like these. Although these are probably out of style by now. You're like, what, Mr. Smith? What are you talking about? I like this shoe. It's cool. It reminds me of a long time ago, the 80s. Oh, now I didn't draw my detail for my zipper yet. So let's see. You know what I'm going to do is, boy, there's a lot of detail in my zipper. It's bumpy, so it's going to be like this. You know, it's funny. I'm not even going to do it yet. Because I'm going to ink all this again. It's kind of like the stitch. It's almost like better. Like this zipper has a lot of detail. And if you have a zipper on your shoe, it might be better to just simply do it when we're using ink. Because if I draw this real neatly with my pencil and then try to ink it again, it'll be very hard to match that pencil line. And you're kind of drawing it twice. Now, that's okay, actually. If you're really worried about, like, I don't know if I can get my lines all perfect, and I want to draw it all perfectly and then ink it, it's a little extra work. But if you want to do it that way, that's a better way. It's just a little more time consuming. But it will guarantee that your drawing will be more accurate and your lines will be more unique. So finally, I'm looking here. This piece kind of goes in a little. In fact, I think it goes like this. It goes like that, and then this thing kind of goes here. Kind of goes like that. Okay, and then I'm going to erase some of this stuff just a little bit. All right, let's see here. Let me look at my shoe again. Kind of goes like this. Okay, and did I get all that? This goes here, and this goes here. Okay, so that's it for my drawing for today. So not bad. I say, hopefully you did well. Take your time if you need more time to draw your shoe. This is all we're going to do. We have 3 weeks to work on this. So this was week number 1. Week number 2, we're going to get a pen, probably a pen around the house. I'm not going to send one home. I might send one home, but I don't think so, because there's lots of good pens that you can just use around the house. So I'm sure you have a good pen. Even a ballpoint pen could probably work okay. And we're going to trace everything neatly. And then the final week, maybe we'll do a little bit of rendering, but not much. But probably not too much, because we'll save that for a final project. So next week we'll use ink. And then the third week, we will adjust the quality of our lines. Some will be thicker, some will be thinner, and we'll kind of make some lines thicker. Maybe if you have like a real dark spot, you can like shade it in black. Like you know, like my heel. Like my heel's pretty black, so I could probably fill in like make that more black-like, stuff like that. So that's it for today. I hope you picked an interesting shoe, and I definitely hope it fits. Don't worry if your shoe is not perfect. We're learning, and the more practice we do with drawing and shading and using these art materials, the better we'll get. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.